Hi, my name is Coach Judith, and I am teaching here as part of our quarantine coding club. A little bit about me: I have been teaching computer coding to kids for about 6 years, and I really enjoy it. Normally, obviously, I do it when I'm in a classroom with children in front of me. This is all new. I've worked in industry and I really enjoy teaching. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. The way our classes run, I will be showing you a video that my coworker Stephen made, and we'll be talking about that video and how it relates to all things about computer science. And we'll be taking input from people in the world out there. You can be responding on our Udemy course. Looking forward to hearing what everybody has to think. So here we go. I'm going to show the video. Here it goes.
I hope you brought your paper back.
Okay, just that's a good reminder from anyone who hasn't participated before. You do need to have a piece of paper and a pen so you can write some things down, and we're going to go through this.
We have a lot to fill out. I hope you brought your paper back. I wanted to do an episode where I kind of pull back the curtain. Something where I explain what this show is about and why it's so weird.
How many of you have watched other episodes and been wondering, what is this show about? I've watched a few and I've had that feeling. So I guess this is good. We're all going to learn what this show is about. Here goes.
By the end of this episode, I think you'll understand why I sat like a weirdo with the camera, that one, right?
Anybody that didn't see that episode, so that episode, Stephen was sitting in front of a supermarket in his car, counting the people going in and out of the supermarket. That was that episode.
Over there, the same one that you're looking at me with. Why I sat with that camera inside of my car outside of my local grocery store and filmed people. I think you'll understand after this episode why in episode 5 I began with a meditation on the blankness of paper.
In this other episode, Stephen had this very silly man jumping over colored pens. So that was another one of our episodes.
Along with a stop motion animation. I think you'll understand why some of the episodes, like episode 2 last week, are about coding. But I want to... And some of...
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen this website before, this is Scratch. It is a great website for learning about coding, but even people that are experienced coders, you can do a lot of really exciting projects in Scratch. People tend to think that it is for children, but those of us who've used it know there's a lot to it, and we may get to do some Scratch coding together. Let's watch.
Them are about paper, and some of them are about neither of those two things. And I think you'll understand why, like in episode 3 last week, I spend time trying to shift the definition of what seem like very normal words, like writing. What was that?
For those of you who are new to our company, the name of our company is Meta Coders, META. Meta is an interesting word to define. So part of the episode, Stephen is explaining that when you write code to write code, that is meta writing or meta coding. The name of our company is Meta Coders. And he did describe that in one of our prior videos.
But first, a flashback. I've been a coder for a very long time, since long before I became an educator, and since long before I went to grad school and got my PhD in computer.
Oh, this is a good question. I hate when people talk about themselves. So the irony, of course, is that Stephen is right now talking about himself, and I did begin this episode by talking about myself. So I know that is a real common tendency for people to talk about themselves. I don't mind because I actually think it's really cool to learn a lot about different people. What do you guys think about people who talk about themselves? Is it bother you, or is it something that you think, wow, I have learned about a new person?
science. I have written code almost daily since I was a child in grade school. That was almost 30 years ago.
Okay, Stephen has been coding for almost 30 years. I probably have been coding for longer than that, wondering how many years you guys have been coding for. If you're less than 30 years old, surely you've been coding for less than 30 years. But one of the episodes we talked about how practice is really important. So if you're new to coding and you spend a lot of time doing it, even if you're young, you can get really good at it.
I learned because my mom taught me when I was in kindergarten. So I'm coming up on my 30 years. I'm coming up on having coded for 30 years.
Stephen started coding in kindergarten. Anybody out there coding since kindergarten? I think I started coding when I was in middle school, or junior high school is what we called it, where I grew up. Everybody starts at a different age. I have taught children as young as 5 how to code, so those are kindergartners. I did pause this here. This is French, I think. I don't speak French. I'm hoping that Stephen is going to translate what this means because I don't know, although I'm guessing it has something to do with being an artist.
Almost daily. I have taught in hundreds of classrooms, and I have worked with thousands of students from...
Oh, the power of music. That is something I know a little bit about. I sing in a choir, and years ago I took piano lessons. I'm not very good at piano, but I can play a little bit, enough to play with one hand at least. The power of music, it's really important. It's one of those things that I think is innate in people. And even animals respond to music. I'm really curious to see what Stephen has to say about the power of music.
Complete beginners to college students to college graduates
That was funny. Stephen says he won't shut up as he is talking.
to junior developers to senior developers. I've taught in hundreds of classrooms, and I work with thousands.
All right, so we can't hear Stephen while he's talking. What do you think Stephen was talking about? He started talking about how he has taught coding to a lot of people at different ages. Then he is showing us words about how art can help us solve problems. Wondering what we all think is going to happen next in this video. Let's keep watching.
College graduate.
The field of applied arts or design. Wonder what that means. Let's look, get some thoughts about what applied arts means. I know what arts and crafts are. I know what art is. Applied arts. I'm thinking that has something to do with using art in ways that have a purpose other than just for being seen or heard, more than just for art, maybe for teaching, like Stephen is doing here in this video, maybe for creating products. Let's keep watching.
I've worked with junior developers. I've worked with senior developers.
Oh, there was some more. I think that was Spanish. I think that question, I didn't catch it fast enough. I think, let me see if I can back up. I think it was, are you a designer? I think that's what that says.
I've worked with senior developers, and I am a working software engineer that works with incredibly intelligent coders.
Are you guys looking forward to when the real episode will resume? Yeah, I guess I am too.
Every day. I have taught so many people that I occasionally run into my old students just at the grocery.
All right. At this point in the video, even though I guess we haven't seen the real video, we have talked a little bit about art and why art's important, and we've gotten some hints about what Stephen may be talking about later. I'm going to turn over the rest of this video to my coworker and friend, Sunny.